as you already know, I'm a huge fan of Brene Brown, and she just does not disappoint. Rising Strong was, I think, is her latest book, and if it's not, I just read it. It is this, it really continues on the premise of vulnerability, wholehearted living, but it takes it a little bit further for me, and it's the title, Rising Strong, The Reckoning, The Rumble, and the Revolution. And it's really, I feel like it embraces the quote by Theodore Roosevelt in his speech. It's not the critic who counts, but it's those who choose to go into the arena and rumble. And of course that isn't the quote verbatim, but it's not, you know, sometimes people might look at you and they say, oh, they talk about all the other stuff and they criticize, and we're afraid to embrace or do whatever it is we're called to do or have that conversation because we're worried about what people might think. We're just worried about being criticized. But it's about embracing and having the courage to do that, and just to live and just to be and be real. She talks about a lot of different things in this book. Some highlights for me were just this idea that spirituality is so important. It's a part of it's a greater part of who we are and how we need it in our lives. And she also talks about this idea of comparative suffering. And for me, that was a really powerful concept, especially a lot of the work that I do in social justice and diversity and inclusion. And it's like, how do we just allow people to realize that suffering is suffering, and it's not about comparing, oh, because you've done this or experienced this, well, my experience is greater, so my suffering is more important, because that doesn't serve anybody or help us to love each other better, or to serve each other better. So I think the last point I want to make is just the stories that we tell ourselves. She talks about that a lot in this. And not only the stories that we tell ourselves that might hold us from in fear, but also the stories that we tell about other people or about the situation that we're in, and just really challenging us to think about that story and seeing what pieces or parts of it are true or not true. So, great book, Brene Brown, Rising Strong. Thanks.